Hi all. Today we will be seeing about list. In the previous video I have discussed about programs on strings. Now in this video we will be seeing what are list. Lists are also just like strings only. They are nothing but sequence of values. So let us see what is list. So what is a list? List is a standard data type. It is a standard data type. It is nothing but consecutive sequence of data values. Consecutive sequence means they are stored one after another. That is, it's in a sequence, consecutive sequence of data values. And data values can be of any data type. Suppose if you take string is nothing but a sequence of characters. It is of only one data type, character data type. Each element is a character data type. But in this case, the data values can be of any data type. It can be an integer, it can be a character, it can be a float value, it can be a string. So the data values can be of any data type. And the values you have to write within the brackets. The data values should be written within the brackets. Okay. So here I have written the example. Example, L is equal to, here I have written sequence of even numbers between 2 to 10 I have written. So the data values I have written separated by commas and they have to be written within the square brackets. This is one example I am just giving. Now the elements are indexed. Just we have seen in the strings how the elements are indexed. Why they are indexed, so that they can be accessed and the operations can be done on it. The processing can be done on the elements. So in order to access them, we use the index. Similarly, the elements of list are also indexed. Example, see the same example I have considered here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now in order to access the element 2, you have to use the index L of 0 index, L of 0, and for 4 L of 1, and for 6 L of 2. You can just directly write print L of 2 will give you answer as 6. So this is about list. Now let us see what exactly is stored in the list indexes. What are stored? That we will see now. Now let us see what are stored in list indexes. Now references are stored in list indexes. For example, if you take a string, let us compare it with string. What exactly is getting stored in string and in index? In the case of string, suppose if I write hello. Now what is happening is, in the memory, hello is stored and H is accessed as S of 0 and E is accessed as S of 1. L is accessed as S of 2 and this L as S of 3 and this as S of S of 4. So what exactly is happening is, in the indexes the values are stored. That is, the characters are stored in each indexes. The characters are stored in the case of string. But in the case of list, I have got a list here. List. In this list, I am just storing a student information. Student in a roll number is 1 and his name is John, and I am just storing his marks. 3 marks. It is in floating point. Okay. So here I am having different data types in this list. First one is integer, second one is string data type, and the 3 marks are in floating point data types. So here the size of this data type would be 4, integer would be 4, string according to the size of this name, and then the floating point, each value will be of 8 bytes. So the size is varying here. So you can the Python won't be able to fix the size as it is fixing in the case of string. So in this case it won't be able to fix it. So what will happen is, exactly what will get stored in L in the indexes. In L of 0, what will get stored? In L of 1, what will get stored? In L of 2, what will get stored? And in L of 3, what will get stored? 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And in L of 4, what will get stored? Okay, so this we will remove. So the values won't get stored here. What will get stored is the reference. The reference of L of 0. Reference of 1 will get stored. And here also reference of John will get stored. Reference of John. This reference of 1. Here reference of John. And here reference of this Marks. And here again it is reference of the next value. And here it is reference of this. So what is exactly getting stored in indexes is references, not the values like we stored in string. The references are getting stored here. So this is the difference between string and list, and in the list indexes the references are stored. And why? Because as we are storing different data types, different types of values, and the size cannot be fixed. That is, Python is storing the references of those values. So this is about list indexes. So when you write print L of 0, what is exactly happening is the value stored in this reference. The value stored in this reference will be displayed. That is, 1 will be displayed in this case. So when you write print L of 4, it will display 96.5. The value stored in the reference, in this reference, that will get displayed. So this is how list works. Now, as we have seen what are lists and what exactly are stored in list indexes, now we will be seeing how to create list. Now if you like my videos, you can subscribe to my channel Ishwari Classes, and you can share it with your friends, and don't forget to like it. Now we will see how to create list. Now list can be created in different forms. The very first thing is you can create an empty list. You can just create an empty list by writing L is equal to, this variable name can be of anything, L is equal to, just you can specify the brackets, you can leave the list empty. So this will create an empty list, and you can keep on adding the values later. And the second way of creating list is you can create list from a sequence. It can be a string, it can be a tuple. Okay, for example, if I am passing a string in the list, this is a list, this will return you list object. Okay, this is actually class, you're creating object. Okay, so you're calling the class constructor over here, so we will not go so deep. Now this, if you write like this and you are passing a string inside this, this will return you list object. This will return you list object, and it will get stored in L. So the value of L will be, what will happen, the string will convert it into list. So every element of the string will become element of this list, that is the list, and list will be created as HELLO, like this. Each character will turn into element of list. So you can create list from sequence also, from string. If you pass a string to the list, so it will return you list object. And another thing is, you can also take directly from the user. using input function. So input function. So in the input function, you can ask the user enter list of numbers, and whatever list of numbers user will enter, that will get converted into list. Again, you are passing it into list here over here. So this will return you list object, and it will get stored in L. For example, so see how this works. The output will be displayed as enter list of numbers, and if user enters here numbers like this 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 1, 0, that is, even if he enters 10 like this, it will convert each and every value, each and every element. It will consider each and every value as an element. Okay, it will convert every value into element of the list. That is, see, like this it will convert, and you have to notice that everything will be converted into the form of string. Okay, like this 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, instead of 10 it will consider 1 and 0. So in this way you can use input. If you use input, it will convert like this. Now how, if you want to consider it in the form of list, that is 2, 4 as the form of numbers, okay, list values as numbers. Now what we have to do, if you enter like this, it will convert every value into string and get it stored in the list like this. But if you want whatever value you enter, if you want exactly to get it stored in the list in the form of value you enter, what you have to do, okay, using input function, that we will see now. So till now we have seen how to create list, how to create empty list, how to create list from sequence, and how to create list from input function. Okay, so I have written that same thing over here, input function. But now we are going to learn how to create list from eval function. Okay, eval function. But before that, we'll just recall the input function. Okay, so I have written here the statement input enter list of numbers. Whatever user enters the list of numbers, that will be converted into list type object, and it will get stored in L. Suppose let us see what will be the output over here. Okay, you will get the statement, you will get the message enter list of numbers when you execute this statement. Suppose if user enters like this in the form of list, if he enters 2, 3, 4, 5 like this. Now if he enters the input like this, now what will be the output? What will be the value of L? Print L. What will be the value of L? What will happen is, when you are converting into list, each and every value will get converted will be considered as element of the list. So the list L will be like, what will be the list is like this. This first one will be considered, this first value will be considered as one value. The second one, second one, 2 will be considered as the second value, 3 will be considered as third value, 4 will be considered as fifth value, like that. That is, even comma also will be considered. So what will happen is, after 2, comma will be considered, and after comma 3 will be considered, and after 3 comma will be considered, and after comma 4 will be considered, after 4 again comma will be considered, after comma 5 will be considered, and then last the square bracket, and then the list gets closed. So each and every element will be considered as will be converted to a list element. In this case, if you are using the list function over here, this is a constructor function. If you use like this, if you use this list to convert, it will be converted like this. Every element, every value will be converted into element of the list. But I want to convert this thing, whatever user has entered in the form of list, this whole thing into original list from the string. Whatever string, we know that input takes string. So whatever user has entered string, that if I want to convert it into list form, directly into list, so what I have to do is, you have to use evaluate function. This evaluate function you have to use. That we will see now. Now see what modification I have made here. I have just removed the list over here, list function, and I have replaced it with eval function. Now as we know, input will take the input in the form of string from the user. Input will be in the form of string, and I am passing that string to eval. So what eval function will do is, it will convert your string into Python code. Whatever string you enter, that will be get converted into Python code, and that will get stored in L over here. Okay, so what will be the output of this two statements? Okay, now you will get the statement enter, you will get the message enter list of numbers. Okay, now suppose if you enter the input as in the form of list, one of the benefits is you can directly enter in the form of list. If you enter this in the form of list, suppose if I enter 2, 3, 4, 5 like this list, what will happen is, this list will get converted into Python code. This string will be converted into Python code. That is, it will be converted into list. Eval will convert this string into Python code, and it will get stored. It will store it in L. And when you say L, when you print L, the output would be in the form of list. You will get the output as list. Previously what we have seen is, if it is list over here, every element, every value will get converted into element of list. But in this case, as we have used eval function over here, evaluate, what will happen is, this whole string will be converted into Python code. That is, here I have given list, so this will be converted into list, and it will get stored in L. So this will be the value of L. So this is the benefit of evaluate function. Okay, so you have learned one new thing, evaluate function also you have learned, which will convert your string into Python code. So you can also create list using the evaluate function. So one of the thing is, you can directly take, one of the benefit is, you can directly take the student information from the user and convert it into list using the evaluate function. In one go, you can take from the user the student information like roll number, name, marks, in one go within the square brackets. You can take and store it in the list using the evaluate function. That we will see in the upcoming classes. So for now, we have learnt what is list and how to create a list. Okay, if you like my channel, you can subscribe to my channel Ishwari Classes, and you can share it with your friends, and don't forget to like it. Thank you.